Going live. I'll let you know once we're broadcasting.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah, we are live. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Chit Chat Geek Out. I'm your host, Steven. Today on the show, we have John Campopiano on the show. He has worked on a few amazing horror documentaries. One is called Untold and Unearthed, The Path to Pet Cemetery, as well as his two new upcoming documentaries, Pennywise, The Story of It, as well as the Robert Icon, the Robert Englund story. And he also works as a archives and rights manager for Frontline and on PBS. And he also is a writer for Scream Horror Magazine. Welcome to the show, John. How are you?
Good, Steven. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. If anybody that's watching, if you have any questions for John, let me know. I'll feel free to share your questions with him. My first question for you, John, is you are a archives and rights manager and a writer for Scream Horror Magazine. How about did you get those jobs, and what is necessarily what's the proper definition for archives and rights manager? What's your job for doing that?
Yeah, so after college, I went to grad school. I actually went to library school and studied archiving, and I've always been a really big history fan and history buff. So I knew that I wanted to do something that allowed me to work with, historical materials and something that was based in doing a lot of research. So I studied digital archives, and after that, was working in university archives and was interested in film. I've been interested in film for a long time, and so I was first an intern at the Harvard Film Archive, and then I got a job doing archive work with a filmmaker and helping him archive and catalog his film collection. And then about a year after that, got a job for PBS, and so I worked for the show Frontline, an investigative documentary film series. And I help them sort of manage all of their different assets that make up their film. So like music and footage and all kinds of stuff. So I've been doing that for about 6 years, which is a cool gig.
Right.
The Scream magazine, I've been writing for a lot of different horror websites since around 2012, 2013. I've written for Red Central, Bloody Disgusting, print magazines, digital, outlets, all kinds of stuff. And just recently got connected with Scream via a good friend of mine named Justin Bean, who does a lot of work with Shout Factory.
Right.
And so started writing for them just recently, really. And they're one of 4 U.S.-based freelance writers. So my first article will come out in their February 2020 issue. So I'm excited about that.
Wow, that's amazing. It's all about connections.
Yeah, it is. It's about connections and sort of just getting yourself out there.
Yeah.
Like you're doing your podcast, it's just like that, and meeting people and trying to take advantage of opportunities when they're presented to you. So.
Of course. Yeah, for like me, because I'm wanting to go back to school still. I was gonna go back for school for film. I started doing some online courses like masterclass, but I was recently like looking into journalism because I think journalism would be good. Kind of teach you, because I also do I do writing scripts as well. So I figured I'm a people's person. I like to socialize with others, and it'd be nice to kind of learn different ways of writing, I think, with journalism. So I mean, hopefully I'm thinking about doing that next year. So maybe that will kind of steer me in the right path, the right direction.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
Awesome. Now, you worked on a lot of different documentaries as well, but did you always have, how you said you went to school, was there anything before that you wanted to do, or did you know you wanted to do that before you got in?
It's funny, like ever since high school, I've just sort of followed what I was interested in, and I wasn't really ever thinking too heavily about sort of where it was going to take me. I was just sort of like, okay, I'm interested in this, and so I want to do this. And and then the rest would just sort of come organically. And so, you know, the film stuff, like doing documentaries, also happened like organically and was kind of an accident with that cemetery documentary. I mean, we didn't set out to make a documentary at first, and I had never really given the consideration to working in films or documentaries. It just sort of happened.
Right.
So yeah, I don't really remember ever having a clear idea of like, oh, I want to go and do this. I was just sort of following my passion and hoping that it worked out, and you know, so far so good.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Because I was gonna ask, like, with all these documentaries that you've worked on and that are coming out, you know, that are still in the works. I'm like, I want to know how you got into that, but you got into that by just connections, I guess. Wow. Because you didn't like, it wasn't intentionally, it just happened.
Yeah. So I mean, the Pet Cemetery thing was like, you know, my friend Justin, who is a filmmaker, we both love Pet Cemetery, and because we live in New England, we're about 4 hours south of Bangor, Maine, where King lives and where they shot a lot of the movie. So we said, hey, let's go check out the filming locations. And while we were up there documenting some of the filming locations, we thought, oh, it'd be cool, maybe we should make like a little YouTube video. And then literally just one thing led to another, and then we had like hours of interview footage and said, oh, okay, I guess we're making a film about the making of the movie. And so it just kind of like happened by accident.
Wow.
And that film for me was really kind of the launching point, because once the film was finished and we got distribution and it was out in the world and people started seeing it, that's kind of what got me some momentum. And so Gary Smart with Cult Screenings, Dead Mouse Productions in the UK, he got wind of the documentary, and we had been in touch years earlier. And he started seeing some of the articles that I was writing about the miniseries about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he had the idea, because he had known Bart as well and knew that Bart had all this amazing footage and photos. And so he got in touch with me because of the articles and was aware of the cemetery documentary. And so it just kind of, you know, you make connections and you meet people and they hear about you and vice versa. And you know, so, and ever since then, it's just been nonstop work on all kinds of projects. So.
That's so amazing. It's like the spark just went up and now you have all these things coming up. That's so cool. Yeah, the Pet Cemetery documentary is so interesting. I loved it. I just found it so fascinating. I love filming location stuff. I love that stuff, and I love hearing behind the scenes stories. So you know, I had Sean Clark on the show last year, and you know, he does Horrors Hallowed Grounds, and like I've always, like, since I started watching his videos, I'm like, okay, I got to do this stuff. I want to visit all these filming locations. And I just find it so fascinating, especially because I didn't even know that they built the set for Judd's house. I didn't even know that. Then when the documentary that said that, I'm like, wow. And it was very informative. I really enjoyed it. You guys did a really good job on that.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it's you know, that's kind of a funny. I mean, I have a special place for that one because it was our first project, and also, you know, it was just the two of us. I mean, you know, the odds were against us for like finishing it and moving it through and getting it out into the world, because it was just me and Justin, and you know, we were doing it on our own time, on our own money. You know, we didn't raise any money for it. We just sort of paid for it as we went. Mm-hmm. And we also didn't know a ton about filmmaking. I mean, you know, I was not a film student. I had made films before. I mean, I made, you know, little movies and stuff with my friends as a kid, but I mean, I didn't know anything about like real filmmaking, and so I was just learning as I went. And so, you know, I look back on it, and there are things that I would do differently now. Like, you know, we all feel that way about stuff. If you go back and listen to interviews 3 years ago, you probably say, "Oh man, I should have done it this way, or I shouldn't have done that, or whatever." And so for me, it's that too. That, you know, if I could go back and redo the Pet Cemetery documentary, I would do a lot of things differently. That being said, you know, I feel, you know, very close to that one, and you know, the fact that we were able to do it and get it finished at all is kind of a miracle.
Yeah. Well, because you said that you did it on like all your time and your budget. How long did it take to shoot for that project before it got into the editing phase?
Yeah, it took about 4 years.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it took about 4 years, and because, you know, when we started it, Justin he had a daughter who was a year old and a son who was, I don't know, 3. So, he was a full-time dad.
Right.
And was working, and I was working and was a student at the time. And so we didn't have a lot of free time to just like go up to Maine and shoot interviews or shoot filming locations or,
right.
So we had to really break it up in piecemeal and do stuff a little bit at a time. And so it took about 4 years to sort of get it all finished.
Wow.
Completed.
What was the process with the interviews? Did you guys do any of those like at conventions, or did you have like a meetup place for everybody? How did that work?
We did one. We flew to Cincinnati beforehand back in 2000. Oh man, I guess that would have been 2012 or 13. And we got 3 or 4 of the interviews done in that one weekend. We had a hotel room and we just set up it was like a mini studio in the hotel room, and we just rotated people out and did interviews that way. We did go down to Gettysburg. I don't remember the name of the show. I don't think they're around anymore, but we went and shot Denise Crosby's interview there. But other than those, we just kind of went to where people were. I mean, thankfully, because the movie was made in Maine, a lot of the cast and crew are still local to Maine, so we did a lot done up there. But we did go to New York City a few times to get some people and rented studios, and it was kind of a hodgepodge, a lot of different techniques and stuff.
Wow, that's amazing. So it started off as a passion project, right?
Yeah, 100%. It was a passion project. We went up to Maine to look at the location. Justin and I are both like you. We like filming locations, and I live pretty close to Martha's Vineyard, so when I was a kid, we'd go there and I'd be stepping onto the locations from Jaws, and I just thought it was beautiful. So, we both been interested in locations, and so we went up to Maine just as fans to check it out, and ended up talking to locals that were up there that remembered the movie being made, and so they would say, oh, well, you should talk to this person because they've got photos from behind the scenes, this person was an extra, and it snowballed. One thing led to another, and we're putting this movie together, and that was never the plan. So it was kind of a happy accident.
Yeah, that's good. That's amazing how that all worked out. That's awesome. And now, I know that Pennywise, the story of it, and Icon, the Robert Englund story, is still in pre-production. Can you talk can you say anything much about them? Because I know it's still very hush hush. It doesn't come out. They don't come out until next year.
Yeah, they're both. The Pennywise is in post production at this point. It's about. We have a fine cut of the film finished, so it's it's beyond rough cut stage.
Mm-hmm.
So our goal is to have that out within the first quarter of 2020. So maybe over the first few months. The Icon doc, we still have a handful of interviews that we still need to shoot. So we haven't started editing that one, but that one is still on track to be out sometime next year. But the Pennywise one will be out well before Icon.
Mm-hmm.
And next year is the 30th anniversary of the miniseries, so it's good timing.
Yes.
So we're in good shape. Yeah, the Pennywise one's coming along really well.
Awesome, amazing. I'm so excited. You guys put out a 6-minute trailer for that with all the interviews. You guys, I'm it looks amazing. Because we haven't really had. We've had a lot of behind the scenes stuff for other films, but since it was a television movie, it feels like it's harder to come across stuff about now since the new movie came out, this is when we have all this merch coming out. But before that, we really didn't have a lot of stuff for the It movie as far as merch and, behind the scenes photos and interviews, because it was a television movie and it didn't really blow up until it blew up. Horror fans knew about it, but I think it blew up even more for when the new It movies came out.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I think with any remake, it's, whether the remake is good or not, it's going to draw attention to the original again.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And, I agree with you. I mean, growing up in the 90s, I mean, there was, the early days of the internet. I mean, there were no behind the scenes photos from the miniseries anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And, as a fan, I wanted to know these stories and talk to these people and see all the, the footage, behind the scenes footage and the photos and stuff. So, we're coming at it as a fan as well, so I'm sort of we're kind of making the documentary that we as fans wish we could have seen 20 years ago. So,
right.
I think fans are going to be psyched. I mean, there's some absolute gold in there. You know, we have 35 plus cast and crew. You know, people that haven't really spoken about the film on the record ever, like Seth Green and Tim Curry. So
yeah,
I think it's going to be pretty special.
That's amazing. I'm so excited. Wow, that's awesome. Hey, did you get because the soundtrack on vinyl came out for the first time, I think, early this year or last year from Waxworks. Did you get that?
I did. Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. I got that, you know, the first day it was released.
It's beautiful.
I'm so excited.
It's a beautiful vinyl. It's awesome.
Yeah, and Richard Bellis's music is, you know, I mean, he won an Emmy for that score, you know, and it's a beautiful soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
So to have the full thing on vinyl and have the extended cuts with tracks that didn't make the original recording, and yeah, it's a special record for sure.
Yeah, it is. Waxworks always does a great job with the other releases. Shout out to Waxworks because they come out with. They came out recently with the Rob Zombie films, the trilogy with House Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, and Three from Hell. And their vinyls and their releases are very beautiful artwork and very colorful. I love it. They do a really good job. We got some.
We live in a good time for, you know, films that, at least when I was a kid, you couldn't get anywhere, or if you were able to find it, it was, you know, $100 or more. So
yeah.
We're living in a good era for music and films that are getting re-released, and, you know, beautiful new packaging and inside stories from filmmakers, and, you know,
right.
It's hard to keep up sometimes with how much good stuff there is coming out.
Yeah, of course. A fan's asking in the chat if you've seen Dr. Sleep yet. I haven't seen it. Have you seen it yet, John?
I have seen it. Yeah, I saw it on Sunday. So I won't say too much since we haven't seen it. And for anybody else listening that hasn't seen it, but I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. Yeah.
It was a long wait though for a sequel, but I'm glad that it finally got made. I know that the book only came out like after 2010, I believe, so it wasn't too long of a wait. But I'm glad that people, because there's a big fan base for The Shining, so I'm glad that people that are in love with that movie still enjoy Dr. Sleep. I'm excited for it, and I'm glad that they picked out the what's that guy's name? The main guy who plays Danny when he grows up from Star Wars. What's his name again?
Oh, yeah, I'm drawing a blank.
I'm gonna look it up quickly. Hold on. Dr. Sleep.
Oh, Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, I'm glad that they chose him. It would have been cool though if they got a cameo from Danny Lloyd or no, not Danny Lloyd. Is it Danny Lloyd?
The actor that played the kid.
Yeah, is it Danny Lloyd or is it I think it's Danny Lloyd.
Yeah, I'm always.
Yeah, it is Danny Lloyd.
Those cameos. They probably worried that we're going to take people out of the film a little bit, maybe.
Yeah. But I gotta check that movie out.
Go see it. Yeah, it's great.
I'm excited. Great. Now, you're a horror collector. I'm a big horror fan. I'm a big horror collector. And I know that you also own original props as well. When did you get into collecting, and what's your favorite piece in your collection?
When did I get into collecting? Well, I mean, I've been collecting like horror movies since I was a kid. I used to, you know, get a weekly allowance, you know, from my parents, you know, bringing in the trash and all that kind of stuff that you do when you're a kid. And I would just immediately spend all that money on VHS tape. So I mean, I've been collecting movies in that way, you know, since the mid 1990s. I never really actively started collecting like memorabilia, but in doing some of these documentaries, I've been lucky to have been gifted a lot of things or some things. I would say a favorite piece has got to be a Tim Curry Pennywise costume.
Wow.
I was given back in Vancouver in 2017 when we were working on the documentary.
Wow.
I made three or four costumes for him, and this was one of them that was given me by the costume designer on the miniseries. So that
wow, that's amazing. Sure. That's I think that's like a holy grail for a lot of horror fans. That's insane.
It is for sure. Yeah, and it's funny. It's like when you're lucky to have something like that, it kind of changes your perspective on collecting going forward, because it's like, well, what could I I get, that would top that for me as a fan of the miniseries, as a huge fan of the miniseries. So,
right.
But I've got some other cool stuff. I have I don't know if you remember in Pet Sematary when the Missy Dandridge, the housekeeper, she hangs herself at one point in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
So I have that rope. I have the noose that she hung herself with.
Wow.
And some other cool things. I mean, there are people like Sean Clark and others that have really invested money and time into collections. That really hasn't been me. I'm not that kind of collector necessarily. I'd rather go after like movies, like copies of movies, rare movies, and stuff like that, on all kinds of formats. I have Betamax and Laserdisc and all kinds of formats that I can still play, which is fun.
Right.
That's what I focus on mostly for collecting.
That's amazing. And you said you those were given as gifts or like from.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, they were given as gifts. So super lucky, really grateful.
To
have those pieces. And with the Pennywise suit, I've started taking it to conventions. I started doing that last year.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a show up in Niagara Falls, and I did one at Rhode Island Comic Con, and just got back a couple weeks ago from Manchester, England. It's a convention that had flown me out with the suit, and I've had it on display for people to see and take pictures with and enjoy and stuff.
That's amazing. I'm glad
that I wanted to make it available for fans.
Yeah.
Not just have it hang in my closet.
Yeah.
No one can see it.
Yeah.
So.
I'm glad that you do that because I'm sure a lot of people want to see that. And is that your favorite film? I know I follow you on Instagram. I've been following you on Instagram for a while, and you post a lot of It stuff. Is it your favorite, hands down favorite horror film?
I don't. Honestly, I really don't know that I have a favorite. I mean, I feel like I've been posting a lot of It stuff the last couple of years just because we've been working so deeply on the documentary.
Mm-hmm.
But, I have a lot of favorites that sort of fit a different mood or time of year. Jaws has always been kind of like my first love. I mean, that was really the first film that I discovered.
Oh, wow.
That, totally captivated me and was, the first movie I bought, I think, with my own money. And, like I said, living in New England and growing up here, being close to Martha's Vineyard where they shot the movie, and meeting a lot of other collectors and fans of Jaws, I've sort of become part of this little, community of people that adore that film. And so, Jaws is up there. I've got a lot of favorites, to be honest.
Yeah. It's hard to pin down a favorite sometimes because there's so many great ones. But I guess Jaws, like, because for me, it's like from my early childhood, like I remember watching like Halloween and like Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein and all the other Universal horror classics. I think when you're growing up as a kid and you said like Jaws was like one of the first ones like you remember buying, I think there's a special place in your heart that holds that memory. And that always just sticks with you as just, being one of your favorite. But yeah, there's so many great horror movies, especially like recent too. But I love 80s slashers and all that fun stuff. I love the practical effects.
Oh, totally. Yeah, there's so much stuff out there. I mean, just think of just horror in general. I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and that was something I grew up with as a kid because I was super into slashers. But in revisiting that film over the recent years, like just the tone and the atmosphere of that movie is just like so good. There's like a little movie called Let's Scare Jessica to Death that came out in 1971. Actually, Shout Factory is putting out on Blu-ray next year.
Wow.
And I love that film. Absolutely love that film. There's so many good movies out there,
Yeah.
They're your favorite in that moment, like sometimes you just need to put in one film and no other film.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly. And shout out to Shout Factory. They come out with a lot of great releases, especially for some movies that really don't have a big release. They improve them. They improve the quality of them. A lot of bonus material is added. They always come out with great underrated titles that came out like in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, there's a lot of companies doing that kind of work. My personal favorite is Vinegar Syndrome. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They're out of Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing just absolutely killer stuff and putting out some really cool titles and some really wild titles. and their transfers just look beautiful, and their packaging is beautiful. They do like a lot of really cool slip covers, and they're still a smaller operation, which I kind of dig. But Synapse is out there, Severin, and there's just so many different companies now that are doing some quality work. So we, like I said before, we're in a golden era.
Oh yeah.
For this kind of stuff.
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. We had someone watching. They want to ask you, what is a prop you would really want to get?
Oh, that's a good question. Prop I'd really want to get. Well, this is kind of an obscure answer, but I know you're from Canada, right? Where are you in Canada? Are you in Toronto?
Yeah, 45 minutes north of Toronto.
Cool. So a movie called The Brain. I probably have a better answer than this, but this is just coming to mind because I was thinking about this. There's a movie called The Brain, which is like a low-budget monster movie that came out in the late 80s, and it was filmed in Mississauga and different parts of Ontario.
Oh, awesome.
And actually, Shout Factory put it out on Blu-ray last year. I was on the special features. I helped them produce some of the special features stuff. But anyway, I would love a piece from that movie, and that's kind of an obscure answer. But that would be really cool.
What was your answer for it? Sorry, I didn't hear it.
Just like a piece of the creature from The Brain.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Really cool. You should check that movie out if you haven't seen it. I mean, it was shot, I guess if you're 45 minutes, it was shot a couple hours from where you are.
I should check it out.
It's a super fun movie.
I've actually been looking to recently, because I know Ginger Snaps and Goosebumps, they were filmed close by me. Ginger Snaps is it's a really hard movie to track down the filming locations. I so far have the school and their house, but I don't really know besides that. And Goosebumps is also not easy to find either. But I did find out that the mask shop, the novelty shop, is located 15 minutes away from me. So I need to go see that. But I wish it's too bad though, because a lot of great classics were filmed in Canada or Toronto. You just don't know it. And then you have people like Sean Clark that do this work, and then you find out, wow, it was filmed here. Like people on YouTube as well. A lot of people on YouTube do filming location stuff. But sometimes it's a shock because you're like, I didn't know that. Wow, it's surprising.
Yeah, like Black Christmas. I mean, back and we get into this a little bit in the documentary. At least out in Vancouver at one point in the 80s, they called it Hollywood North. And obviously there was a big tax shelter for filmmakers to go up there. It was cheaper.
Right.
But a lot of movies were being made in Vancouver back in the 80s and the 90s. And I think not as much today. I think kind of Toronto has sort of taken over and filled that void.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff being made in Toronto.
Yeah.
But yeah, Black Christmas was shot up there. There's so many so many horror movies that were shot in Canada that are classics.
Yeah. Well, the new It movies were shot up here. I went to go visit the set a few times. I went to go visit the set in Port Hope for It Chapter 2, and then I also went to go see the Nebo house, the creepy house. I saw that in person. That was really cool because in part 2, they did it CGI. In the first one, they actually built the house. And yeah, so that was really amazing to see in person up close. The detail that they put onto that set was incredible. And even going to Port Hope and making it feel like you're in the U.S. and Maine, they did such a good job. It was a really great experience. And it was really big up here because for that was a big 2 chapters. Those 2 films were very, very successful and very big. So it was a good tourist attraction, that's for sure. In Port Hope, they did a really good job picking that town out. Somebody in the chat said, I just looked it up. Danny Lloyd has a cameo in Doctor Sleep. He plays a spectator at the baseball game.
Really?
Yeah, I have to keep an eye out for that when I watch that. That's awesome.
That's a fun Easter egg.
I'm glad that they got him. That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Before we close off here, I want to ask you just anything at all that you want to plug for the show, any upcoming projects and events that you're attending, and what are some things that people may not know about you? Do you have any hobbies and interests outside of your work?
Well, in terms of upcoming stuff, I'm going to be appearing at Wicked Weekend, which is a horror convention in Connecticut. It's actually our first year running. I'm going to be there with the Pennywise suit, and I'll be hanging out all weekend. They're going to show the Pet Cemetery documentary. Nico Hughes and Dale Midkiff are going to be there with me. So they'll be a part of that, and we'll do a Q&A afterwards. So that should be really fun. That's at the beginning of December. In terms of upcoming projects, I'm so close to being able to talk about a handful of things. I've got a short film coming out. It's not horror film related. It's going to be coming out via PBS, a digital film coming out later this month, which would be really cool. And I've got 3 other documentary film related projects that are in pre-production right now that I'll be able to share more information about in hopefully a few weeks, maybe as early as a few weeks.
Awesome.
So 2020 is going to be a super busy year. In terms of special hops, man, I don't know. I guess I'm an avid ultimate frisbee player, which isn't really something that people would know about me. I played in college and love to get out and play disc golf in the woods with buddies or play competitively on football fields, and anytime I can get a frisbee going, it's a good time for me. So
awesome.
It's a random fact.
Very cool. And I know you mentioned the word short film there. I think one thing we forgot to discuss, I just want to know, because you worked on a film called Georgie, which was a 7-minute short film based on Georgie from It. What about how did the idea get brought up to make that?
Yeah, so I'll tell this in a short way. So we had found an actor, his name's Tony Dakota, and he played Georgie
right.
in the series. And Tony hadn't acted in 25 years. And one of the things I asked him, I said was, would you have any interest in getting back in front of the camera? And he said, definitely, but I don't really know where to begin. So I had the idea, and I pitched it to my buddy Ryan Grulick, who is a fascinating guy. You can have him on the show at some point. He co-founded a company called Creepy Kingdom, and he and I we did Georgie together, and we're working on a couple of upcoming things together. But I pitched the idea to Ryan, and he said, yeah, that's a similar idea. Let's see if we can write something for Tony to get him back in front of the camera. And so we had this idea of, well, what if he came back on screen as Georgie? Mm-hmm. And obviously we knew that in the book and in the movie, Georgie dies, so we would have to explain that somehow. And so we came up with the concept and pitched it to Tony, and he was all for it. And so, in a matter of 2 or 3 weeks, we wrote the short film and got it funded and shot it out in Seattle last year, and Fangoria released it for us. And so that'll be out for free online for everybody to see pretty soon. We're just doing some final tweaks, but that's kind of how it came about, the short version.
Oh, amazing. That's really cool. Did you for that Pennywise outfit that Tony was wearing, did you use your screen outfit, or was it a replica?
Yeah, the combination of the two, actually. The bodysuit itself was a replica, because the one I have, the screen-used one, is kind of fragile, and so we were worried about putting him in it, having him move around. Right. But the vest and the collar is original, is what Tim Curry wore in the miniseries. So he's got a little bit of both. He's got a little bit of original Pennywise, and then some of the new stuff.
Awesome. And I
be more physical.
And I like how you guys added Ben Heller at the end of it. That was really cool. Yeah.
Ben has become a good friend. A lot of the cast from the miniseries have become good friends, and so we had the idea of sticking in one of the original losers, kind of just a little nod to the fans that pick up on that. So.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, thank you so much, John, for taking the time tonight and being on the show and discussing your projects and your career and horror. And everybody that's watching, make sure to keep an eye out for John's newest projects. I left his Instagram, his Twitter, and his IMDb down in the description below. But definitely, if you guys can, get your hands on Unearthed and Untold: The Path to Pet Cemetery. That film is currently out right now, the documentary, and it's amazing. And I Icon, the Robert Englund story, and Pennywise, the story of It, are coming out next year. And I'm looking really forward to seeing them. Thank you so much, John.
Thanks, Steven. Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course, anytime. Hope you have a great night, and keep in touch.
Will do. Thanks, man.
Take care.
You too.
Bye.